Hey guys, how's it going? Matt from Foulball Productions here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you're doing well because I'm doing phenomenally. Thank you very much. It's the 129th episode of the MFer Podcast, and I thank you for spending the time with me this evening. I hope you had a wonderful day. I hope you had a fantastic day. I hope it was full of victories and achievements, both spiritual and tangible. Big. I hope you crushed. I hope you hit a home run. A real literal home run. I hope you were playing a pickup game of baseball, and in that game, you hit a home run. That's what I envision for you. We got a good show for you tonight. It's going to be fun. Not a whole lot of big news to talk about, but I was browsing articles, and I came across some pretty interesting articles. So we're going to talk about a few different stories spread out over a few different things. Other than that, just going to be the regular show. Hope you're ready for it. The big story that I keep seeing over and over is this goddamn reflecting pool story. And I can't even pretend to give any kind of a shit about it. And the libs, this is what I can't stand about the liberals, right? It's I like the left in this country. I hate Trump. I think Trump sucks. I think he's been a complete failure. I'm glad he had the balls to get us out of this stupid Iran conflict that he started, because there really was no other option. But I still think he's a total fraud, a total charlatan, sold out all this political capital he had to do a stupid war. Total, just awful. And yet, when the left goes after him, they pick the stupidest shit. They pick the ticky-tackiest bullshit. They're like, oh, you see this reflecting pool of failures? You're like, this is it? It's not the war. It's not the economy. It's not inflation. It's not fuel prices. It's not the fact that he's reneged on every single campaign promise that he went into. That there's no mass deportations, no DOGE, no tariffs, et cetera, et cetera. I've said all this a million times, but that's what you're digging in on to him about, is the goddamn reflecting pool. Who gives a shit? Who cares? It's it's like a matter of a little bit of chemical balancing. I don't give a shit that there's an algae bloom. You think that's some kind of big win? Oh, it's reflective of his incompetence. Is that it? Or is it the fact that this war cost us $150 billion or whatever the estimate that came out was, and the enemy, the so-called enemy, is stronger? The coalition split. Everyone's furious. All the Jews are furious. And I'm like, that's what you got? The reflecting pool? Oh, someone at that UFC fight said that Michelle Obama has a dick. It's like, oh, okay. The tired meme, the tired joke that we don't even make anymore. You should be making fun of that for being lame and for being a dated joke. Not for, clutch your pearls over a joke. My God. It's you can never align with the left. Even when you're I don't want to say on the same side, but standing in a similar position and criticizing the president and the GOP and the Republicans at large, you can't align with the left at all. They're a total clown show, totally ridiculous collection of freaks. We are going to talk about them a little bit. There's some interesting House races going on where AIPAC is raising its serpent-like head and getting involved. And Mondami had some choice words about AIPAC, and we're gonna get into all of that. But the big story today, or at least the one that I think is the most fun, is Mark Levin. Mark Levin and his denunciation. He's not an Israeli agent, guys. Don't worry. Don't let all of his actions and his access to the president and his complete lockstep agreement with the government of Israel, don't let that all fool you. He said he's not, so he isn't. I saw on Twitter, it was a former intelligence agent said that there's no such thing as a deep state. And you're like, oh, what a huge load off my mind. Oh, okay. We investigated ourselves and found no wrongdoing. Oh, okay, good. Well, that's great news. I was worried. I thought that there was a whole intelligence operation, a whole intelligence establishment infiltrating the media and government and working against our interests and potentially, killed a sitting president and rigged an election. But no, they said there's no problem with any of that. Like, oh, good. Oh, great. Oh, I was worried, but they assured me there's no problems. There's no problems. Say who's here. Hello, Papa Cotton. How you doing, brother? Papa Cotton was hanging out with me on the Sunday show that I do on New American Vision, Right Wing Pulse, which is a blast. I recommend that show. Y'all should come out and hang out with me, where we talk about different right-wing conversations that happen during the week. I always have a blast over there. Papa Cotton was there, hammered. He started attacking me. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, when some liberal tries to tell a conservative how to think. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm the liberal? What's happening? It's good to see you, brother. Hello, Courtney. Hi to you. Hello. Sentient Dildio. What's up, brother? How you doing? Wagan Yoidem. Indeed. Listless. OG. How's it going? OG in name and reputation. Both OGs. Accurate. What are you saying here? I thought it was shitty and pointless, left always ruining it for absolutely everybody. I'm tired. I know. There's I empathize. I feel ya. It's been a rough go. Papa Cotton. Republican Democrat is only for us. It's to keep us divided and fighting while giving us the illusion of freedom. There's no division in D.C. They're all the same team, and it's not ours. Well, I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, I feel like the battle lines have been drawn, and the conversation around Israel and AIPAC's influence is never been more center stage for both sides of the political aisle. The system is legitimately disrupted, and the beast is having indigestion. So we're going to talk about that, what specifically is going on with that. But I don't know. It feels different to me. They're scrambling. They're throwing crazy amounts of money at these little campaigns. They're desperately trying to wrestle control. All the pro-Israel Zionists have come out. They all hate Vance. They got their marching orders. I talked about this on the last episode, but they got their marching orders. Now they hate Vance. Vance is the worst. He's the bad guy of this story. He's the one who got the bad Iran deal. Not at all acknowledging that there's just no such thing as a good Iran deal, no matter which way we took. And Trump took the most painless route that there was, which was not very painless. It was very costly. But now we hate Vance. It's like, shut up. Shut up. All you love is Israel and anything that goes for that. And that's your number one priority. That's your North Star. That's all that. None of this matters beyond that. What's up, Lord of the Ree? Hello. That's exactly what a Fed would say. How you doing, brother? How you doing? I was killing a bunch of zombies in Left 4 Dead, but one of them walked up and said he's not a zombie and that zombies don't exist. So obviously I took it at face value. Of course. Some zombie tells you they're not zombies, you're good. There's no problem. No such thing as zombies, actually. It's a far-right conspiracy theory. Zombie... anti-zombie manetic. Such a diddle. Yeah, well, stop calling Matt liberal. He's been a right-winger for a whole 6 months. It has been longer than... Listen to me. Just because I didn't know the depths of what I didn't know doesn't mean I wasn't like a right-winger. I just wasn't like... I was more like I was a goy. I just didn't know. I was on the plantation. I was just like, this Trump train's for real. He's the outsider. We're going to take the culture back. The things are real. I get it, but I don't think I ever called myself even a classical liberal. I may have been discussing those concepts, but that's a bridge too far, Sentient Dildo. And you hurt my feelings when you say stuff like that. What's up, Eric Von K? How you doing, brother? Center right libtard. I still take issue with that description. I just wasn't that informed. But I had really hard. I was very right wing. My views were so right wing. They were so trad and aggressive. They were so fascist, bro. So fash. I'm such a fascist, bro. I'm such a badass fascist. All right, so. Let's get into the story. Let's get into the stories today. We'll start off with the Mark Levin story, where he was at a conference. Now, are you saying I protest too much? That's not true. Shut up. I'm reading like right-wing books and stuff. I'm real serious about it, guys. You guys are dicks. All right. Let's get into the story today. So I was reading the news, and this came across my purview, and it's got one of the funniest headlines I've read of late. This is Mark Levin. I'm not an agent for the Israeli government, Mark Levin says at Israeli government-sponsored event in Jerusalem. Oh, well, if you say so, then there's nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see. Just this guy who is lockstep with every single thing that Mossad and Israel want. And he's in Jerusalem at a Israeli government-sponsored event. I don't work for Israel. That's crazy talk. That's banana. Where do you even get off with that? What's up, Big Shippy? How you doing, brother? You got the notification? All right, good. At least you got one. That is fantastic news. Better than last week. Listless says, I don't even know that guy, and I can tell he's an agent. He's on the news every night. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Mark Levin has been a part of right-wing or conservative media for like a long time, but his star had fallen so profoundly. He was completely irrelevant. You know, if you listen to Fox News during the Iraq War era, you know, or conservative talk radio back then, you would have known who Mark Levin was or is. But other than that, there was a huge lull in his popularity and his relevance. But recently, ever since the Iran war kicked up, man, he's been like the guy. It's been like Trump's been like, you know, this is the guy you got to listen to. Mark Levin is MAGA now. You know, he's just been this like center stage person in this ridiculous conversation that's been going on. Hold on a second. I'm just getting a little feedback from my headphones. Give me one. All right, sorry about that. But he's been one of these guys that's just been like, you can't miss him. You can't miss his, Nick Fuentes likes to describe him as odious, and he is quite odious, but you can't miss that fucking shitty little dwarf face that he's got. But we're gonna play a little bit of what he had to say at this event, which I just thought was keynote.
People keep giving opinions about me that aren't true. I read headlines and I go, did I say that? No, I didn't say that. So I just want to explain, I'm not an agent for the Israeli government. I don't meet with the Israeli government. I don't conspire with the Israeli government. Believe it or not, I love this country and I don't need any government to tell me that. And I get this from people who do conspire with foreign governments, just not this one. People keep giving
that was Mark Levin's statement. And, you know, it's funny he said this. It's funny that he made this direct statement, this declaration of fact, of indisputable fact that he does not work with the Israeli government. He's not even coached by the Israeli government. That's crazy and anti-Semitic. Well, this something was just kicking around in my head, something that an article that came out last week, and I was like, "Oh, really, Mark? Well, Benjamin Netanyahu tends to disagree with that, actually. He says Netanyahu to lean on right-wing pundits, pro-Israel senators to influence final Iran deal, CNN reports. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu plans to use pro-Israel senators and right-wing media personalities to influence the terms of a final agreement between the United States and Iran, CNN reports, citing an Israeli source. Netanyahu believes a final deal with Iran could be secured, but that Tehran will not fulfill its obligations under the agreement, the source says. He plans to use media figures such as Fox News' Mark Levin and pro-Israel politicians to get his message across. That's the prime minister is saying it. You don't work for Israel. Well, Bibi begs to disagree. He's got another interpretation, and he's going to use you specifically to push the war in Iran. How great is that? How great is that? He goes out and says that, like, unequivocally. Like, it's crazy that you'd suggest that at an Israeli government event in Jerusalem, and then there was this article. This is from June 18th. This is 5 days ago. 5 days ago, this story's coming out that Benjamin Netanyahu plans to use specifically. That's the only person they mentioned is Mark Levin. Oh, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. I just thought that was absolutely hilarious that Mark Levin's like, that's crazy. People talk about me like this. This is nuts. How can you even say such a thing? Benjamin Netanyahu plans to use Mark Levin to influence Trump. It's like, that's a spy. You're a spy. You are working intelligence for a foreign government. That's being a spy. He named you. It wasn't like right-wing influencers and I could reasonably deduce that it was you. He used your name. Don't work for Israel. That's a coincidence. I don't know what the prime minister of Israel is saying, but that's nuts. That's bananas. Mark Levin traveled to Israel over the weekend for a week-long getaway that kicked off with him speaking at the Israeli government-sponsored Jewish News Syndicate's International Policy Summit in Jerusalem. How nefarious does that organization sound? The Jewish News Syndicate? That's what I would call it to be disparaging. I'd say the media is just a Jewish news syndicate. That sounds nefarious as hell. That's like, the League of Evil Bad Guys. The Jewish News Syndicate. I thought that was an anti-Semitic trope. I thought it was anti-Semitic to say the news is a Jewish syndicate. It's so funny when you see, like, when they're like, oh, it's anti-Semitic to say the Jews control the government. And then you see, like, there's, like, 75 like Jewish government organizations, like, Republican Jews, Democrat Jews, like AIPAC, and it just goes like there's like hundreds of all these different groups specifically organized around being Jewish, not clandestinely, like openly, admittedly, in the name. And they're like, that's so racist, you'd say that? There's like 300 organizations expressly designed for that purpose. It was like once that like all that AIPAC information started becoming mainstream, once you see something that it's like 90% of Congress takes some form of AIPAC money, you're just like, that's not even an opinion. That's not even like up to debate. There's no gray area here. Oh, golly. Golly. He went on to bash Trump's MOU while speaking before Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in the audience. So the Prime Minister's in the audience. Israeli government in Jerusalem. I don't work for Israel. That's like, well, you probably should, because if you're in that room and you're not doing their bidding, life might get a little tough for you. I would. I'd be like, yes, sir, I'm top guy. I don't want to die here. I don't want you to drone strike my family. Yes, sir. Whatever you say, sir. Lord of the Ree, have you seen Rusty Cage's newest video, AIPAC Money? It's great. No, is that a musical artist, Rusty Cage? I don't know him. Let's see. Is it something I can... It's probably not something I can play. Is it something that can be... Okay, so it is a song. Rusty Uncaged. Rusty Cage. I don't know. Maybe we could play it a little bit. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Are they going to publish these policies? Are you talking about the policies of influencing the United States government to do Israel's bidding? I mean, they're pretty far spread. Oh, I don't know about the International Policy Summit. Yeah. Lol, a play on Arab money. I don't even know if I know the original, to be honest. If not on stream, listen to it later. You'll like it. Okay. All right. Cool. Why does the Jewish News Syndicate need an international policy summit? Policy on what? Beating up Christians? Yeah, policy on doing what they demand of us. Policy on, giving them billions of dollars every year, going to war with them, and definitely not criticizing them. Like, we joke about how severe, the Jewish lobbies can come down on Americans, but like, you can't even approach these subjects in some of these foreign countries. Like in Germany, you'll literally be arrested. Like there's varying degrees of how aggressive it gets, but there are certain countries where it's like, no, they are a protected class. You don't say a goddamn thing about them, which is insane. Like I remember years ago, I was in LA and I was doing this catering job, and there was this British guy, and he was saying about how, we were talking about like the First Amendment. I was like, yeah, we have like the First Amendment. We say whatever the hell we want legally. And he was like, oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if that's a good thing. And it's just like, first of all, you pussy, what kind of a man would advocate for his own censorship? Fag. That's so, first of all, that out the gate. But secondly, you see how important it is. You see just how crucial it is. Like all the people in England who are being arrested for Facebook posts about the immigration problem. It's like, well, you see that there was a giant government cover-up. I'm reading The Death of the West by Buchanan, and it's absolutely wild. That's a 24-year-old book, and he predicts the future in that book, man. He lays it out perfectly. It's all right there. He's just like, yeah, like Europe's going to need like all these millions of immigrants to come in because the birth rates have declined. And he gets into it. It's kind of the traditional conservative arguments I'm sure you've heard, women, birth control, feminism, careerism, all that stuff. But he backs it up with so much statistics and so much information. And it's just like horrifying that he got it so right 24 years ago. I don't remember anyone talking about that like mainstream publicly. I'm sure, had I been reading right-wing, literature at the time, maybe I would have been key to it, but I don't remember anyone talking about that being like demographic decline in 2002. Maybe on the fringes, but it sounded crazy. It sounded nuts. He's got like a crystal ball. He predicted the fucking future. Papa Cotton says the anti-Semitism in here is frankly very shocking. I'm so disappointed in all of you. Tis. That's, you know what? I think we should report. I'll report myself. I'll report my own stream for hate speech. We need to reclaim the Holy Land for Christendom, to whom it rightly belongs. Listen, I'll settle for the United States. I'll settle for that. Can we start there? Base of operations, world Christianity. We'll have our own world Christianity headquarters, and then we'll be the ones influencing government. We'll be the ones getting other vassal states to do our bidding for us. That's how it's going to be. That's how it's going to be. Yeah, and Epstein killed himself, didn't he, Mark, to Levin? We actually have an Epstein story for later. It's a good one. It's fun. It's right in line with all of this. It's great. It's funny how like it's basically just out in the open that like, yeah, Epstein wasn't just some random guy. He clearly worked in the government, clearly, for the government or whatever amongst governments, like a go-between. And like that's just kind of casually just been added. You're like, whoa, whoa, let's get a little bit more into that, please. I'd like to hear a little bit more about the millionaire pedophile child trafficking guy who worked for our governments and Israel's. Can we expand on that for me? Give me flesh that out. Flesh that out. Like and share. That's right, Eric Von K. That's what I'm talking about, brother. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Why weren't you reading right-wing literature? Oh, right, that's right. You were liberal. No, I wasn't. Not in 2002. I wasn't. In 2002, I was very right-wing. I was very much a, Sean Hannity conservative, but I was conservative as fuck back then, dude. I was going to join the Marines and go fight the Hajis, man. I was serious about it. I was very right-wing in high school. For real. Then the war just went so bad. I just figured, oh, well, they must all be wrong and lying. And I just kind of stopped caring. I just kind of tapped out of politics for a while because it was just so depressing and sad. You know what I'm watching right now? I'm watching a documentary about the Gulf War, the original one in 1991, and it's absolutely fascinating, man. Like, first of all, the one thing I noticed in the documentary is like all the people speaking, all like the politicians and all that, they just seem to have so much more dignity. They just seem more dignified. They seemed more statesman-like. they had this kind of like aura of they're in charge. It felt like adults. They really did feel like, leaders, like elite. And it was really interesting. And there was such little support for that war leading up to it. Like the American people didn't want it. And then they got, kind of psyoped into it. But it was really fascinating. People always talked about the Gulf War like it was this decisive thing and we did the right thing and everybody was on board and great, great, great. No. The Gulf War lore was wild. It is. It's absolutely nuts. Right deviation liberal. That's fair, but like I couldn't possibly have known that back then. I was just listening to Sean Hannity and Michael Savage, and I'm like, fuck yeah, exactly. That's what I think. I had their opinions basically. So anyway, all right. Bro, I hit send the exact second you said, or a meme magic. Let's fucking go, Lord of the Rings. All right, let's hear what he had to say, what good old Mark Levin had to say about the MOU. This I actually don't know. I haven't listened to this, but it says woke Reich in the title, and I'm like, all right, well, we got to check this out.
When I see what I call woke Reich, R-E-I-C-H, podcasters out there attacking.
I don't even see the grifters using that terminology anymore. I don't even see the political grifters saying woke right. That was a thing for a while they were really trying to make happen. And the thing that shocked me more than anything was that people latched onto it. Not a lot, not widespread, but enough. It was James Lindsay was pushing this ridiculous concept. And I was like, what's he talking about? And then I've said this before. And I thought like, oh, do you mean like people who have like this kind of an identity reflex, and then they call you names if you disagree with them? I'm like, oh, he means like the pro-Israel people. No, he meant the opposite of that. He meant the nationalists. He meant the fascists. He meant the far right. Oh, we're woke for what? Having principles and being consistent and wanting to exclude Israel from our vision of the new country? Why would that make us woke? It doesn't even make any sense. But then I saw, the normie cons going with it, who was running with it? I think Razor Fist was running with it. Kerry Smith, I heard her say it a lot. It was just all like, you're like, are you guys fucking serious? Like, is this for real? Like, you're really latching onto this? It's like, how come all these so-called woke right people are critical of Israel? Why is that? What's that coincidence? Why is that? Why does that overlap exist, guys? Because it's a term manufactured to try to alienate the true nationalists from the right wing. You fucking child. Oy. Jimmy Concepts. I have him. I don't even know if I still follow him on Twitter. I had to stop following him because he tweets incessantly. His Twitter feed is disturbing. I don't know if he still does it, but last year it was unsettling. The amount that man tweets, it's really it was scary. And he only started making money on Twitter like a few years ago. He always tweeted like that, just all day, just constant tirades. I'm like, I used to think this guy was smart, man. Woke Reich is such a Jewish thing to say. It's so. I heard it was like Netanyahu or someone like they tried to like up it, and it's like the woke Reich. It's like, so what? We're like gay Nazis. Is that what it is? It's just like, shut up, dude. You guys are such fucking clowns. Lord of the Rings. Woke started with the communists using race instead of class to subvert the society. Same old Bolsheviks behind it, based. That's it. I heard that it was like some racial term in like the 60s and 70s. It was like a black term. And I remember the first time I remember seeing it was after Trump got elected. It was like this stay woke, which was kind of like a message, a dog whistle, if you will, a monkey whistle. I'm just kidding. It was just so low hanging fruit. I had to. But it was to people who, it was basically like resist, it was basically like, this fascist isn't going to take us down, and then it didn't last that long. And then it became the catch-all title for everything that was like super progressive. And it worked. I mean, it made it lame. It made it socially unpalatable. It made it kind of cringe to be associated with. It was like social justice warrior. That was another one that they were unironically calling themselves social justice warriors. And then it just became someone who's like an unhinged blue hair liberal. And it worked, you know. Those pejoratives kind of work. I'm with that. Stay woke is a black thing from the late 80s and 90s. 80s and 90s. Okay. All right. Yeah, I didn't know about that at all. The first time I ever heard it was like on Twitter after Trump got elected. Apparently, it came back before that, like when Mike Brown got killed. You know, this is the type of entomology I'm not all that interested in. But I am interested in hearing what the woke Reich is up to. How about y'all?
Attacking the state of Israel and Netanyahu. Some of them pretend we just have policy differences. That's not what they're attacking. They're attacking the right for the state of Israel to exist. They just don't have the guts to really say it, but it's true. And
we don't fucking give a shit, Mark. If Israel exists, if it doesn't exist, it doesn't matter to us. What we don't want is this outsized influence in our country. That's what we don't want. We don't want to have to fight wars on behalf of Israel and Zionist Jews in our own country. That's what we don't want. We don't want the levers of power to be pulled according to your desires and your needs at the time, okay? We don't want any of that. It has nothing to do with the existence of Israel. I could give a shit. I don't care. I care insofar that it affects our national security and our interests, and the fact that we have to go to war every few years with these countries that who cares? No, Iran doesn't have a problem with the United States of America. I don't think Yemen gave a shit. I don't think there was nothing about Syria that we had to worry about other than maybe like Al Qaeda and ISIS or whatever. But it's like, that wasn't why we went. That's not why we went. And not to mention, Al Qaeda's big beef was that we supported you assholes. And they're right. We shouldn't. It's just like, oh my God. And Soros, the other side of it. Absolutely.
the growth of anti-Semitism by these woke right neo-fascists, it is a big deal. And some of us have to deal with it and confront it every single day.
Neo-fascist. How do you guys like this? How do you like the sound of that? It's got a good ring to it. Neo-fascist. It's better than neo-Nazi. Nazi's too specific. Nazi's like just Germany, you know. I don't care about Germany. I mean, not that I don't care, but it's not my priority. I care about the United States of America. So that doesn't fit. Neo-fascist, though. It's kind of got a good ring to it. I'll roll it around, see how I feel.
And when Donald Trump condemned them, basically banned them from MAGA, he'd had enough of them. That was an act of enormous courage. When Donald Trump...
It was courageous. It was courageous to destroy that coalition. That, once-in-a-generation coalition. Now, look, I'm obviously have the illusion that was ever going to be anything actually profound has been shattered for me. I understand that, and I recognize that I believed it, and I recognize furthermore that was naive, okay? I get it. But it was a very broad coalition of different groups, and it's been absolutely gutted and destroyed, including some of the most prominent commentators in it, Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. I mean, between them, they do millions and millions of views every single show that they do. I mean, if you're going to talk about the biggest right-wing commentators, it's I think it's them. They're the biggest, most influential that I can think of. And so he alienated them. Okay, well, a lot of people went with them, idiot. That wasn't brave, that was stupid. He could have lied. He could have finessed it. He could have been more strategic about it. He could have shown respect to him, but not listened or followed through on anything that Tucker was asking, and you could still held on to him. Tucker the other day came out and said he's not a Republican anymore. That was so brave. So brave to alienate all these people. Good work, Trump. Way to go. So brave. The only bit of bravery he did was telling you people no for once. And being no, actually, we're not going to keep going to war with Iran. We're coming home. That was the only brave thing he's done.
Had several Hanukkah parties, and my wife and I, my mother-in-law, we were at one of them, and he said, I can't believe the extent of anti-Semitism in this country. What is going on? He was asking us. He has said that to me.
Shut up, Sentient Dildo. Shut up. I think I qualify. I don't think I said it like that. I think I said it was approaching or shut up. Jerk. What's so funny too is it's like they're baffled at this rise of anti-Semitism. And it's like, first of all, what do you define as anti-Semitism? Like, being Israel critical is not anti-Semitic. I know that you see it that way and you'd like to see it that way, but that's not the same thing as hating an immutable characteristic or a group of people. It just isn't. But even if it was, you have no thoughts, no theories on where that's coming from? No idea, huh? Just the fact that we're all seeing you constantly murder kids on our phones every day? You don't think that had anything to do with it, huh? Like, you don't think that the outsized reaction, the bombing, the leveling of apartment buildings, and the invasion of Lebanon that's holding the whole world hostage to getting like the energy back and up and running, you don't think that none of that plays into it? It's just baseless, completely primal, blind hatred. And where's it coming from? Where is it? Why? No answers. I don't know. I guess they just hate Jews. Oh, boy.
Personally. It bothers him. He's using the government to fight it. They're trying to deport people who are these virulent anti-Semites coming mostly from the Middle East, who shouldn't be here and shouldn't have been here before. He's got an enormously incredible record when it comes to.
Listless says, Greater Israel Project equals retarded. I said it. Listen, if the United States just pulled out of that whole region and didn't help these people with their savage desires, I'd say have at it. I'd say go nuts. I'd say, you know what? Go take Syria. Go take parts of Saudi Arabia and Egypt. Please do that, because they're all going to turn on you like that. Without us having your back, without our military, you're fucked. So have at it. Go have fun. You go take out Iran by yourself. Go into Saudi Arabia. See how that goes. See how the world likes it when you start fucking up with the entire world energy. Go for it. Do it. The problem is that, we're their pit bull, right? They go start shit and then we got to go fight the fight. That's the issue. But if you want to just you want to go nuts, big, tough, brave, badass Israel, go crazy. Go crazy, please, for the love of God. Lord of the Ring. Saying our hate for them is based on being Jewish is an anti-Semitic statement. They're saying their insufferable attitude is tied to their race, not us. That's a bit of a self-report. Bit of a self-report there, Mark. Bye-bye, kids. Have fun storming the castle. Yeah, exactly. Leaving Gaza is pretty anti-Semitic. Leveling Gaza is pretty anti-Semitic. Yeah. I guess so. I guess it's like, really, you have no, and the complete lack of awareness, Like, I was looking at Bill Kristol. I follow Bill Kristol on Twitter because he's just a fucking delight. And he was saying something about, the fact that it was something. I forgot who it was. Like, it was like someone that was like the Trump administration or someone like has no self-awareness. It's like, you are one of the architects of the Iraq war, man. Talk about no self-awareness. Like, did you ever apologize for that one? Did you ever come out and say that you were wrong? Catastrophically wrong? Look, from Israel's point of view, they weren't wrong. I mean, that's what they wanted. They wanted a fucking balkanized, fractioned, completely internally strife-filled Iraq, and they got it. So from Israel's perspective, actually, we're totally right. We did exactly what we want. Knocked out the strongest guy in the region with the biggest military. That was like some in that Gulf War documentary I'm watching, and they're like, oh yeah, no one in the region, this is in the 90s, no one in the region has these types of tanks and attack helicopters except Israel. And you're like, oh wow, I wonder why they wanted them gone. I wonder what the problem was. It's like, they're any kind of a threat to their dominance, not even their power. It's not even their power, not their survival, their existence. It's their dominance. That needs to be stifled. Oh God. I just imagine like having so much hubris, just viewing yourself in that way. The people around you, they're not people, and they can't have any sovereignty, agency. They're not even really allowed to live if they're even casting a wary eye in your direction.
Promoting liberty, religious freedom, our Constitution, supporting Christianity, and supporting Judaism. He's a man of faith.
Is he talking about Trump? Wait, was that about Trump? As a man of faith? Listen, Trump's a lot of things, okay? That's not one that I would include. Okay, so this goes on and on. It's a bunch of stupid clips. I don't think there's much more to this article, but I did think it was absolutely hilarious how he's just like, I don't work for Israel. I'm not an Israeli agent. Like, in Jerusalem at the Israeli event, and then 5 days before, Netanyahu, by name, says that's how he's going to try to influence Trump and the American people is through you. Oh, is that just luck? There's lucky, like lucky us. There just happens to be a prominent figure on Fox News and in the media conversation that just happens to align perfectly with everything we want. Bibi couldn't imagine it. He couldn't believe his luck. What a day. What a banner day when he found out Mark Levin exists. Because obviously Mark said he's not working for them, so he's not. So Bibi just got lucky. There's a guy that's just out there spouting his talking points all day, every day, just for the love of the game. He doesn't work for Israel. Okay. So there were some interesting other conversations that were going on. And this is why earlier, Papa, when we were talking about this, where I feel like it is significantly different, our politics, left and right. There is a degree of what you're talking about. There is a left and the right hand, like working against the American people. That's 100% legitimate, and it isn't gone. But I do feel like the population's awareness of this is way more enlightened and way more like top of mind, is in the front of the conversation. It's like people on the right and left are asking our politicians, "Do you take AIPAC money?" Like that's like even like a normie criticism now. Because like you just, from the right, we're looking at it from, okay, you've hijacked our movement, you've hijacked like our president, you've hijacked all the things that would help us become a stronger nation, which is what we'd want, right? Being on the right. And on the left, they watched you kill all these kids and then like deport people who had a problem with it, who were like organizing to express an issue with it. So it's like, it's all sides are just like, they have beefs. They're different beefs. They're certainly different. And like I said, the left's diagnosis of what's going on couldn't be more wrong, but they still recognize it as a problem. And that's sort of both on both sides. Lord of the Rings, yeah, Trump is excuse me, as much a man of faith as Henry VIII made the church allow him to get a divorce. Yeah. Like it's just like I'm gonna change theological law so I can get rid of this bitch, get rid of this pain in my ish. Okay, so this is from Politico, and this is everyone's favorite socialist, Zoran the Moron. I kind of get a kick out of like right wing like boomer insults, when they're just like, the wokeocrats, you know what I mean? Something just so low effort and corny and uncreative. That's what the Zoran the Moron. Mondami called AIPAC dark money monsters. Fellow Democrats mostly stayed silent. What do you know about that? There was some Jewish woman was at, I don't know if it was a Jewish event, probably, but it was something like that, talking about Democrats and saying about how the Jews, we've been at the forefront of all of these liberal movements in the United States as far as going back as far as the 60s and even before that. You can't have the liberals and the left in this country without Jews. And you're like, sweetie, that is not playing the way you think it is. That's not going out the way you heard that in your head. The way you heard that in your head, they're going to be like, yes, queen, absolutely. The way the rest of us heard it is just like, bam, She said it. I didn't say it. Fucking she said it. Okay. Jewish leaders said the mayor invoked anti-Semitic tropes in his virulent criticism of the pro-Israel lobby. New York, Mayor Zohran Mondami compared AIPAC last week to monsters who move millions in dark money to accomplish a single goal, to preserve their power so they can turn us against one another. You know, for a socialist. Not bad. Pretty good. Not bad. The remarks, which Mondami defended Monday, drew swift condemnation from Jewish leaders and advocacy groups who said he was parroting virulent anti-Jewish tropes that have been peddled by anti-Semites for centuries. I love this one, too. They never really take on the claim. You know, it's like the same thing with like Mark Levin. It's just like, so the issue is not that you're killing a lot of kids, you know, brutally and cruelly, like in really cruel ways, and we're taking notice and we don't like it. That's not the problem. The problem is that you said anything about it. That's the thing we gotta jump on. And it's just like this thing. It's like, oh, they're peddling these anti-Jewish tropes that have been going on for centuries. You're like, okay, yeah, but is it true or isn't it? Like, so what that it's an old trope? It's like, well, there's probably a reason for that. Like that, I guess that's another coincidence. I don't know what to say, but it's just like, okay, man, but it is what it fucking is. Like, 90% of Congress takes some kind of AIPAC money. Obviously, the Iran war was on behalf of Israel. Their ability to do all the evil things they've been doing in Gaza comes with our help. We would like to talk about that. We have an issue with that, actually. And it seems accurate to say that they move a lot of money to achieve a single goal. I would say that seems factual, objectively speaking. And it's like, so the problem isn't that. The problem is that you're saying anything about it. It's like, perennial truths do be like that. Look, I wasn't there for any other time in history when these anti-Semitic tropes were uttered. I'm hearing this one, and I can tell you, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's like I'm looking at it happen every day. I'm looking at the outside rebel nationalist president, you know, the America first, Americanism, not globalism, doing your bidding at the barrel of a gun, literally. And then the second he doesn't do it, all condemnation from all sides. Like, I don't care that it's a trope. It's true. Swap AIPAC for Jews, and it's the oldest anti-Semitic conspiracy theory in the books, Democratic New Jersey Rep. Josh Gottheimer said on X in a Sunday post. That's not criticizing a lobby. That's laundering anti-Semitism from your podium as mayor of a city with more than 1 million Jews. This bullshit is dangerous. That's the other thing, too, is like they never really address anyone's kind of grievances as valid, right? Like, what they're probably suggesting is like, oh, he's like a Muslim, so he hates Jews, you know, because they don't share his faith. It's like, yeah, that, or you've been killing a lot of Arab Muslims for a long fucking time, and it's merciless. You have policies like mowing the lawn, which means to just like kill a few of them just to make sure it doesn't get too big, make sure it doesn't become a problem. It's like this ice cold, vicious like worldviews and policies that you have. I mean, you have obviously the Samson, but what's the other one where they kill their own people instead of having them get captured? I forgot the name of that one, but it's like, it's also something biblical. And you're like, yeah, it could be that. You know, maybe they don't like you because of that. Is that possible? Nope. They just hate. Does anyone have that one? Does anyone have the name of that? Hannibal, the Hannibal Directive. I remembered it before you said it in the chat. Okay, I did it. I did it right. But in a sign of New York candidates' glowing reluctance to show sympathy for AIPAC and their fear of alienating voters who despise the pro-Israel lobby, none of the House hopefuls in the three... I kind of like that the journalist isn't playing this bullshit. He's just like, they're hateful, they're what do you say? Reluctance, growing reluctance to show sympathy for AIPAC. Like, is not... is not pretending, is not playing into the anti-Semitic accusations, right? Every other time you'd read an article like this, it's always just like, and the racist went on to say, I didn't like when the black guys invaded my house, It's like they always go with the most like drippy liberal criticisms, but this journalist is like, yeah, okay, it's about AIPAC, and we know what it is. It's like, based. None of the House hopefuls in the 3 primaries Mondami has endorsed were willing to criticize the popular mayor's remarks. Instead, they defended the mayor or opted not to say anything at all. Mondami's comments were made at a Thursday rally with Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. God, I can't speak. For congressional candidates Brad Lander, Claire Valdez, and Darializa Avelia Chevalier. Oh my God. They landed as the specter of AIPAC has loomed large in this year's Democratic primaries in New York, even if the pro-Israel lobby has largely stayed out of most races, and as voters are increasingly dissatisfied with Israel. A recent statewide poll found that 51% of likely voters and 70% of Democrats believe Israel is committing a genocide against the Palestinian people in Gaza. Look, fat lot of luck getting the Democrats to vote for anything pro-Israel right now. I mean, that is their cause. They abandoned everything for that cause. They abandoned climate change. They abandoned all the gay shit. They abandoned black race stuff. They abandoned all of it to become the party in the group who's critical of Israel and the savior of the Palestinians. Like, you're not getting them. You're just not. And if there's one thing we know about the left is like they are ideologically committed. They will go down with the ship while it's on fire and they're throwing gasoline onto it to preserve their ideology. And if this is chief in their ideology, fucking good luck, man. Good luck. It's like, Fuentes' plan is for what's it called, for the Groypers and sort of the right at large to vote blue in the midterms so that the Democrats can come in, take the House, excuse me, and hold committees and investigate the Trump administration and stop all this criminal shit that they've been up to. And it's like in that movie Ragnarok, Thor Ragnarok. Remember at the end, like he can't beat the girl, he can't beat the super powerful girl, and it's like, no, I can't, but he can. And it's like, that's like who the Democrats are. It's just like they're when they latch onto something, man, they're gonna shake themselves apart trying to get to it, And so it's like, yeah, I actually kind of with that. I feel like the Democrats will just go in hard on Trump. Like they hate Trump. If they could get past their emotions for long enough, they actually may create some decent arguments. But no, it's the ballroom, and it's the fucking reflecting pool, and it's the UFC fights, and you're like, why do you suck at this so much? Why do you suck at this so much? Oh my God. Those are superficial bullshit. He's actually doing terrible things. Jump on those, you retards. And then I'd actually agree with you. Oh God, the left sucks. The left sucks so much. Rabbi Yaakov Berman, a liaison for the Hasidic Lubavitch sect, told Politico he was horrified by Mondami's AIPAC outburst, arguing it flies in the face of commitments the mayor has made to not engage in rhetoric that could stoke violence. These people always worried about violence, like just terrified there's violence around every corner, and then use it against their enemies without a second thought. The more vicious, the better. The more humiliating, the better. And they're just like, what about us? They're going to be violent. It's like, yeah, maybe if you weren't massacring kids, the people would be less inclined to be violent. It's not the rhetoric, dickhead. The bottom line is that the people who hear it see it as a silent endorsement of violence. Oh, okay. You just know what everyone's thinking. Everyone who's got a problem with AIPAC and like blind support of Israel, what you're really doing is encouraging violence against Jews. Okay. Said Berman, who is among a group of local Jewish leaders who've met privately with the mayor to discuss efforts to combat anti-Semitism. Although, as I think about it, I saw this poll the other day, and it was comparing Republicans, Democrats, and independents where people would likely endorse the use of political violence. And as you can imagine, the numbers heavily favored the left wing being completely comfortable with things that they thought were of the utmost priority. It's okay to use political violence. And one of the big ones was like getting rid of Trump. It's like, it's okay to use violence to get rid of him. It's just like, Jesus, man. Like, these people are crazy. So actually, maybe he's right. Maybe Rabbi Yaakov Berman or whatever his name is right, because he's like, no, you're kicking the wrong hornet's nest here. Like, I know we cry wolf all the time, but these Democrats are nuts. They will kill us. It's incredibly dangerous. He added, the mayor has a responsibility to watch the way he speaks, especially as he says, he cares about all New Yorkers. Isn't there somebody you forgot? There's a very important somebody you forgot to ask. Moshe Indig, a Hasidic rabbi and leader in Brooklyn's anti-Zionist Satmar sect, disagreed, arguing that the latest accusations of anti-Semitism against the mayor are disingenuous. I do love when the Hasids come out and they're like, no, you're not going to launder our identity and our religion through this bullshit, okay? Like, they are ferociously anti-Zionist, and you're just like, what are you going to do about that one? It's like in the early days of like the kind of like ideological race war. It's like when a black guy comes out and says stuff that's like critical of the black race, you're like, what are you going to do with that one, huh? What's your retort? What's your identity-based retort? It's like, is he not allowed to have those opinions? What about, that's his lived experience. Yeah, when the Hasids come out and they're just like, shout out, Jew. Like, based. It's okay to disagree with Nick. You won't go to hell for it. Are you talking to me? Look, I would disagree with Nick if I thought he was wrong about that. I would disagree. There's very few things that I disagree with him on. I feel like his diagnosis has been really spot on. There's only like a few things, and it's more like personal level stuff that I disagree with him on. Like, I remember he was like talking about girls, and like dating them or whatever. And he was just like, he was making fun of those girls who do those food reviews on Instagram and TikTok. And they're like, run, don't walk to this town's hottest bar and restaurant, blah, blah. And he's just like, I'm going to put up with that. And we're going to, she's going to watch this too. I'm like, Nick, okay, but like what you're talking about is like a basic bitch. Yes, nobody likes a basic bitch. Yes, that is annoying. That's what you're talking about though. But it's like, that's not the entire gender. That's why we have a specific pejorative to make fun of them. Because it's like, they're the basic ones. They're the most obnoxious ones. But I don't know. Look, like I said, wake me up when Nick's wrong about something. He literally said the other day, Tucker comes out and says, I'm leaving the Republican Party. And then Nick tweets, just like, well, we'll see how that goes when the topic of supporting his buddy J.D. Vance comes up. And then he was on Alex Jones today, basically saying, yeah, he's endorsing, J.D. Vance. He tried to word it in a tactful way, but it was like, yeah, he was 100% right. And also, something else he was vindicated on today. Months ago, he had a show where he was talking about, it was the fall of the Daily Wire and how bad it was going. And then he's like, it's great. It's funny as hell to watch them, burn out and everything, but don't celebrate too soon. This isn't over. They're going to get an injection of cash. Some wealthy Jewish billionaire is going to give them an injection of cash and they're going to stay afloat. And then today, a story's going around with the Daily Wire talking about going public or something like that. And there's a $100 million investment coming into the Daily Wire. So look, when he's wrong, I will observe that. Until that happens, I'm going to keep trusting his word because he's fucking sharp. What's up, Zax? How you doing, brother? Good to see you, brother. Lord of the Ring, the problem with Nick's plan is once they have their little committees or whatever, they'll go back to all the other stuff twice as hard with no one to stop them. Yeah, it's a risk. It's a big risk. It's a gamble. What's the alternative? The alternative is what? Strengthen the GOP even further so that they can destroy all of the political capital that's built up. I mean, they pretty much already have, but they'll finish the job. And then who knows what? We go back to Iran. We do, we basically make it toxic to ever talk about deportations ever again. all the things that have gone, all the things that have failed, like any kind of cutting of spending, any of the things that the Trump administration's goals are now like toxic. They're going to be toxic talking points because of how much Trump fucked up and how much they're going to be associated with him. So what, we're going to go all in with the Republicans? We're going to give them another shot? Oh no, this time we'll find the good Republicans. This time we'll find the based ones. No, they have to be destroyed. The GOP needs to be fucking crushed and embarrassed, and their brand needs to be toxic. They need to be fucking chased out of public, the second that they deviate from anything that isn't really America first, isn't really nationalist, they need to be mocked. They need to be attacked verbally, not physically. But they need to be crushed, because they need to understand who the fuck they really serve. They need to know whose votes they actually are courting. And it ain't the fucking donors. It's not the Jews, because they'll jump ship the second you don't do what they want, as we're seeing play out here. So I think Nick's 100% right. I think he's perfectly spot on. Back to the article. The idea that monster means anti-Semitism, definitely not, said Indig, who endorsed Mondami just before last year's November mayoral election. Excuse me. They are upset that he's anti-Zionist They're upset that he's against the Zionist government, and no matter what he does, whatever he says, whatever words he uses, they'll criticize him. Based Jew. They are upset that he's fighting against AIPAC. That's what this is about. Mondami defended his remarks Monday, saying that he took the word monsters from a quote from Antonio Gramsci, a philosopher and leader of the Italian Communist Party in the 1920s. I hate when they try to go one level deep to make themselves seem smart. Like who's that woman who was like responsible for the rise of communism in Germany between World War I and II? I can't think of her name right now. But like that's like a woman that like Hassan likes to mention to make himself seem like he's really well read on the subject. I hate when they go one level deeper. It's like it's a Wikipedia search. I'm sure. I don't know. I don't know anything about Mondami, but I would imagine he's not a very well, like a very well rehearsed, a very well informed socialist. He's probably a fucking idiot. But I hate when they go one level deep and it's like, you fucking edgelord. You fucking edgelord. We need to be elite human capital. What's wrong with that, Lord of the Ree? What's wrong with being elite human capital? What's wrong with getting jacked and getting rich? I'm with it. I think it's awesome. No arguments here, Ree. No arguments here, brother. Rosa Luxemburg. Sent you, dildo. I could count on you, buddy. That's it. That's like he loves to like act like, oh, that's the type of communist I am. Fucking kill yourself. Okay, so he took it from the Communist Party in the 1920s. However, according to The Guardian, Mondami was actually repeating a common mistranslation of Gramsci's work. See? I knew it. I knew this idiot didn't actually read this stuff and know all about it. We're talking about the status quo, where children are being killed on a daily basis, Mondami told reporters. Defending the language, I'm speaking about an organization that has been supportive of the status quo, that has fought any attempt to actually deliver safety to the people. The mayor has also pointed at the AIPAC strategies funding other PACs that act as shell organizations. Now, that's where we're going to stop this article, because it's basically just going to go right into the next article, which is about this very subject, where that in these Democratic primaries, there is just a ton of AIPAC spending. Like we're not quite on the levels of Thomas Massey, but we're like approaching it, There was something too, just a total aside, and I saw someone say that. I think it was Massey. Was it Massey that said it? I don't remember who said it. It was a good point though. Maybe I said it, because it was such a good point. But it was talking about how when Tulsi Gabbard left her position as a DNI, as the Director of National Intelligence, she did this big dump on like all the ways Fauci was such a criminal, which is like, like sick, I guess. But we're at war. You know what I mean? Like the COVID shit is bad. Really bad. And he should be prosecuted. But like, didn't he have a part in, and like, wasn't like the statute of limitations on that already expired? And it's like, like in a different time, if it was like the first thing you did when you got there, that would have been so sick. That would have been so badass. But like the fact that we're like at war with Iran, How about something pertaining to that? You know, how about when you resign, you make a big statement about what a mistake this is, or, you know, some bombshell in that regard. And it's just like, and then it was like someone said, yeah, it's like, you know, drop this just in time so that he couldn't be prosecuted. It's like, what a fraud she turned out to be. What a fraud this whole thing turned out to be. And, you know, it's not even like one of these things where it's going to take some time to kind of reflect and realize how duped we were. It's like, oh, it's so up on the surface. It's so right up there in your face. It's like, wow, no, none of these people were serious. None of it worked out. We were all so hyped, and look how stupid we look now. Well, maybe not we. Look how stupid I look now. I can speak for myself. I look dumb for being pumped about that. No, I'm saying he's right about that, but elite human capital includes being capable and worthy leaders. Yeah, no, hold it. Totally. Base as fuck. Big Shippy, when are we going to talk about the stolen Legos, though? That story's old. That's like a week ago. Come on. That's like 10 years in internet time. I don't even really find that all that compelling. I thought it was like an interesting story that I kept an eye on, but, you know, I don't know. I don't care. The Mormon Mafia. It's like, you know, but there's other YouTubers you can go to for that. I'm into the hard politics, Shippy. I'm into the serious stuff, okay? The Jews and Iran, all right? That's what you're going to get here. Said you dildo. Gramsci wrote their Long March to the Institutions playbook when he was imprisoned by Italian fascists. Oh, well, that's actually kind of interesting. I wonder, I should probably read that. Should probably read that to learn their play on the situation. That's very interesting. Hello, lovely Sherry. What's going on? Damn. New picture for us all. CoffeeZilla won't make a video about world Jewry. Yeah, it's a touchy subject. Look, we've all gotten comfortable swimming in these waters, but like, this is novel. This is still very new. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I said, it's a novel thing that we're doing here, and I feel like a lot of people still bristle at it. Less and less every day. I mean, you saw that 70% of Democrats think there's a genocide in Palestine, which, according to, you know, guys like Levin, is anti-Semitism. So people are getting bolder and braver. But yeah, if you're going to like, oh, I'm just going to expose on this giant platform, I'm going to expose the World Jewish Power Network. You know, do you have a bunker? How well armed are you? You know what I mean? You don't want any pianos falling on you, you know? But he'll make one about Legos. Look, to be fair, Ree, that story was big. Everyone was talking about that goddamn Lego story, and it was pretty interesting, and it was an abuse of state power. I mean, it was like the police worked as like, you know, a personal like mob, as like, you know, strongmen for this, you know, syndicate, this Mormon syndicate. That was interesting. I was compelled by that a little. Not enough to, you know, do any real research and talk about it, but still. So, let me see. We got 20 minutes left. All right, you know what? Let's pivot away from AIPAC. We've done enough AIPAC. There's a you know, I'll put the article in the chat if you guys actually want to read it about the whole thing with like AIPAC being involved in all these different elections. It is interesting. Look, I think this is a turning point. I think it's like an important thing to be aware of, because that's like the battleground, and like this is going to be at the center of American politics moving forward, you know, until it's not an issue anymore. But it's going to be an issue for a while. It's going to be an issue during these races. It's going to be an issue during these elections, definitely during the presidential debates. And I mean, there's going to be two primaries. There's no incumbent on either party. So we're going to have two primaries. So that means there's going to be a lot of staged discussion and talking, and Israel questions are going to be on the docket. So it's going to be a part of it. So if you want to read up on that, I'd recommend it. Let's get into, I'll do two more stories. This one I thought was great. This is the type of stuff when Trump said I was going to be tired of winning, this is what I thought he meant. This is the type of stuff I thought we were going to be seeing a whole ton of. Lord of the Ree, normalized talking about the Jews. I have a friend who at first seemed a bit uncomfortable with the topic, but now he brings stuff up to me and asked me about it. Look, yeah, I didn't really want to start talking about it until I kind of knew what I was talking about. Like when I started wading into these waters and started becoming, when I got woke to this, I was just kind of like, well, look, I don't know. Let me just do some more research and look into it. And then like the research is so stark and widespread and consistent and horrific and nefarious. And you're like, oh, okay. No, I feel comfortable talking about this. I think it's like we just been conditioned for so long to never talk about it. It's like that Chappelle joke where he's like, if it's a bunch of blacks, it's a gang. If it's a bunch of Italians, it's a mob. If it's a bunch of Jews, it's a coincidence and you should never talk about it, you know? The police corruption was hilarious. Yeah. Latter Saints Mafia. Yeah. All right. So this is a story that came out today. Alleged Antifa members sentenced to decades in prison. See, I love this. When it's a far left extremist, the press will always run cover for them, right? It's like they'll call Fuentes or any of these people Nazis, Holocaust deniers. They will use the most pejorative things that they can to describe them. But when it's like on the left, when they're leftist extremists, oh, they're alleged Antifa members, which suggests doubt. Which puts doubt in the listeners and the reader's mind. Oh, well, that's just this evil Trumpenreich. That's just the evil fascist Donald Trump, they're not Antifa. They were just good old protesters. You know how, remember the 60s? Remember how we got everything done with just good old protest? Alleged Antifa members sentenced to decades in prison over ICE protests. 8 people got prison terms ranging from 30 to 100 years after a protest turned violent outside an immigration detention center in Texas last summer. Yo, based. So based. Like, this is what I was hoping we were going to get. I thought we were going to get a swift crushing of the leftist extremists. I thought that's what we were going to get. I thought that's what winning was going to look like. So based. No more, mass arrests and then everyone's released. No more celebrity bail funds for BLM. No. Billy clubs and prison sentences for all these usurpers, these rabble rousers. It's like sick. Yes, so based. More of this, please. My bad. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Fort Worth, federal judges in Texas on Tuesday gave eight members of an alleged Antifa cell. What even is that? That's probably not even real. Prison sentences as long as 100 years for their roles last summer in a protest outside an immigration and customs enforcement facility that included vandalism and the shooting of a police officer. Dude, this is the type of shit I wanted. Swift retribution for all these leftist pukes, right? Like if when they went into Minnesota and those 2 idiots got killed fighting the cops on behalf of illegal invaders, if they went fucking full on tear gas, riot gear, you know what I mean? Like, the strippers, the zip ties, you know what I mean? Tasers, like riot guns, man. If they went full, that would have stopped that day. There would be no more protests. And that's how it should have been dealt with. That's how all that should have been dealt with. This is the mandate. I mean, shit, you could almost argue it's a mandate from God because of how close Donald Trump got to being killed. That like little head turn, it certainly seemed to me like fucking that God was voting Trump. That's how it looked to me. And so it's like, if not God, then, the people, the United States of American people overwhelmingly voted for this guy to do specifically mass deportations, and all these little fucks, these pukes, disrupted it. They stopped it. Why letting them do it, man? We're in charge now. Like, this is our time to like kick some fucking ass. And they didn't. And now, boom. This is the type of shit I wanted to see a lot. How can anyone get 100 years in prison? Don't break the law in Texas, bro. Don't break the law in Texas, bro. Yeah, went violent. Yeah, they always make it sound like it was like, oh, it was provoked. It got out of hand. It just got violent. It's like you went there to kill people. Oh, Lord of the Rings, you're talking about the JQ. That's fair. That's fair and a good approach to have. That's what I did. You need to avoid inflammatory language when introducing them to it, though. Yeah, definitely. I think it's important to like start with Israel, start with AIPAC, start with the things that are tangible, that are provable, that are objectionable to like almost anybody who's not a sycophant, who doesn't have like an evangelical religious background to believe this type of stuff. Like, you know, that's that you start with them, start with that type of shit. And then most people will be like, wait, really? And then you look into it like, you know, here are the facts, you know, baby steps. Oh, how can an idea get 100 years in prison? Huh? Is that how this is? Faced life in prison and received 100 years. Benjamin Song, a former Marine reservist who was convicted this year of attempted murder for shooting the officer outside the Prairie Land Detention Center in Alvarado, Texas, faced life in prison and received 100 years. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, I'm sorry for getting it wrong. The other 7 defendants were given prison terms between 30 and 70 years for charges such as rioting. Based? We're charging people with rioting again? Dude, next it'll be homelessness, and we can save this country. Make homelessness illegal, make rioting illegal. Let's go. Having your phone on full volume and playing Mexican TikTok in public illegal. That's my mandate when I am Führer. Providing support to terrorists, conspiracy to use and carry explosives, and conspiracy to corruptly conceal documents. Only Song was convicted of attempted murder. The case has been praised as a victory by Trump administration officials as they crack down on left-wing protesters. You love to see it, man. You love to see it. God, I want this to just be so much more widespread. You know, when the FBI, where's Kash Patel been, by the way? That just occurred to me. I haven't seen that idiot's face in months. Where's that guy been? When he did that thing with the SPLC and you exposed them to all the fraud that they've been doing, all the injections of cash, the fact that they're paying for the very hate groups they claim to want to defeat, you know, like I said, not the type of stuff that if you're paying attention, would have been that much of a shock, but still, it was news. It became news. You know, that was the type of shit that I thought we were going to do. We're going to like infiltrate all these left-wing groups, cut off the federal funding, cut off their power networks, bring it all down. Like, this is sick. Like, let's do more of this, please. These sentences justly punish the vicious armed attack that these Antifa cell members planned and executed against law enforcement and detention center officers on the night of July 4th last year, and they did it on the country's birthday. I mean, is nothing sacred. Ryan Raybould, U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas, said in a statement their terrorist acts, attempted murder, vandalism, and explosives launched at a detention facility were a far cry from a peaceful protest or First Amendment expression. These sentences come a week after the Justice Department filed charges against 15 people in Minneapolis who prosecutors allege belonged to Antifa groups that conspired to obstruct and attack immigrant agents earlier this year. Listen, it's not all bad, guys. It's not all bad. We got some wins, dude. Racking up some W's. That's good to see. Oh, Antifa is just an idea. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, allegedly, it's just an idea. There's no organization. There's no central leadership. There's no one directing these freaks to go do. It's just an idea. It's just an idea. Yeah, exactly. I know. These fucking people. Where were we? The sentences come after a week after the Justice Department filed charges against 15 people in Minneapolis. This is what I'm talking about. Who prosecutors allege belong to Antifa groups that conspired to obstruct and attack immigration agents earlier this year. Get them all. Get them all. Finally, some victory for the Chuds. This is what I want to see. Total Chud victory. The investigation stems from the National Security Presidential Memorandum 7, which Donald Trump issued after the killing of conservative Christian activist Charlie Kirk in September. The memo defined that's crazy. That was just like only September. The way things move, that feels like so long ago. Wasn't even a year. It feels like so long ago. The memo defined Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization. Beast! And directed the Justice Department to investigate and disrupt networks, entities, and organizations that foment political violence. Fucking base, dude. Let's go. Let's fucking go. So that was just a little bit of a victory. That's the type of stuff that I thought our golden age was going to be paved with. I thought our golden walls and our golden age were just going to be paved with victories like that. But, obviously I drank the Kool-Aid. I took way too big of a sip from the Kool-Aid trough for my slop. Oh. Well, one last article that I thought was rather interesting. This comes from Dropsite. Dropsite's a good news outlet. Look, I think pretty sure Ryan Grimm's a Democratic Socialist. I don't know what Scahill's politics are, but I will say as far as like up to date, staying on top of it, news coverage, Dropsite's great. You go to their Twitter, especially with this whole Iran war thing, right? Because you'd get like statements, right? You'd get like the Trump administration says negotiations are happening any minute. And then I go to Dropsite and Dropsite's like Iranian delegation says total bullshit. And you're like, okay, this is the actual information. Look, I get they're lefties, but there is this, look, okay, I know how you guys are going to spin this, you little shits. I know. But I am finding more and more left-wing people with integrity, which maybe sounds like a contradiction in terms, but it isn't. People who are like, they're not like corporate leftists, right? They're not mindlessly pushing the corporatized progressivism, third worldist, Marxist, everything's gay, and that's all great. They're still lefty. I don't want them in charge of anything, but when it comes to their like reporting of the news, of them kind of organizing facts, I actually find them to be pretty reliable sources. Like Breaking Points and Dropsite are the first two outlets that like I don't like when I read the Washington Post or I read the New York Times, like I scrutinize what they're saying because like I know it's propaganda. It's like coming from like the CIA. That is not the case with these guys. I actually think that they are, as far as like left-wing media people go, they're not bad. They're actually pretty reliable. They gave the Goy Kool-Aid pineapple. Didn't stand a chance. No. I mean, the propaganda was too strong. There's nothing you could have told me back then that would have gotten me off, I wasn't tapped in. I didn't really know what I was talking about. I didn't recognize how widespread the betrayal was. It was my buddy. I went to Skankfest with my friend last September of 2024. And on the way over there, we were in Vegas. I remember my buddy said this. He said, Trump took $100 million from Miriam Adelson, and it was the first I'd heard of it. And I remember just being like, whatever, fucking lib. Your criticisms are coming from the left. They're not real. But that did stick with me. I remember just thinking like, I thought the whole point was he didn't need donors. He's so rich. That's weird, But I was like, nah, fuck it. It'll be fine. The adults are back in charge. We're taking control of the country. Yeah. You follow some of the post-left guys. I don't know who are the post-left guys. I think I've heard of these guys, but I don't like my buddy tells me about them. I don't really know. They do hold their convictions and go out and organize for sure. They're wrong, but they 100% believe what they say. And I feel like they're good faith. Right? That's the impression I get. I feel like they're good faith. Even if we disagree, like, I feel like, it's like Sager over at Breaking Points is like a center-right guy, but Crystal's more like she's with Kyle Kalinske or whatever. They're married. Is that his name? I think that's his name. That fucking idiot. So it's like, obviously she's pretty far left, but they're not sitting there having like ideological debates and like you're racist and like that's homophobic. Like they're not wasting their time with any of that bullshit. Like, yeah, it's a left-wing outlet, but they are giving you the facts and they are dissecting what's really going on. And it's valuable. It's like, it's useful information. Like, yeah, it's going to once in a while, Ryan Grimm's going to quote Ta-Nehisi Coates. That's going to happen sometimes, but the media, the information is valuable. All right. So let's read this last article today and we'll wrap it up. This is from Dropsite. Like I said, the Israeli government installed and maintained security system at Epstein apartment. Oh, it's an interesting headline. That's got a few things in it that are interesting. The Israeli government installed and maintained security system at Epstein apartment. See, that's funny because what I understood, and this is what I was told by powers that be, and I think even the Prime Minister of Israel himself, what he said that when Ehud Barak met with Jeffrey Epstein, that was as a private citizen. That had nothing to do with the power of Israel, the Mossad, intelligence, the United States, any kind of collaboration between the two. That was just him meeting it. That's anyone can meet anybody. He's just a private citizen. Oh, well, the Israeli government installed and maintained a security system at Epstein's apartment. Well, let's read on. The Israeli government installed security equipment and controlled access to a Manhattan apartment building managed by convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, according to a set of emails recently released by the Department of Justice. The equipment was installed starting in early 2016 in East 66th Street, the residence where former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak frequently stayed for stretches at a time. Now, okay, he is the former prime minister, and in the United States, obviously, presidents get Secret Service and protection for the rest of their life. I mean, that makes sense. The coordination with Mossad, with the Israeli government, though, is that's an interesting detail. I don't think we would just let like the Chinese government just come in and set up surveillance. And it's like he's meeting with this prime minister. The Israeli government themselves are setting up the surveillance in this apartment. And they're still talking about Epstein like he's just this guy who liked to bang young girls. It's like, no, dude, no. The guy was like a linchpin in all types of intelligence operations. Like it was funny, like when, who was it? Pam Bondi last year said that like releasing like the Epstein files, I think it was her, was like a threat to national intelligence. And you're like, what? What are you talking about? And now you see why. That scandal, I feel like it still hasn't gotten the lid blown off of it yet, and there is still no repercussions. Whatever happened to Massey trying to get the last 3 million files out? He hasn't done any of that. I know he's kind of just one congressman, but I really thought he was going to get that done. Release the Mossad cut, indeed, Sentient Dildo. Lord of the Rings, 2016 isn't that after his first conviction when he got that sweetheart deal? Yeah, oh yeah, that was definitely after that because he died in, I want to say 2017 or 2018. So yeah, definitely. This was when he was already widely known to, let's say, be a bad boy, to have proclivities that many find repugnant and would extricate almost anyone else from normal, polite society. Yeah, it was like, this is well after that. I believe you're right, yeah. Okay, the security at Ehud's apartment was in place for at least 2 years, emails from the DOJ disclosure now, with officials from the Israeli permanent mission to the United States corresponding regularly with Epstein's staff regarding security. I wonder what they were talking about. Maybe their love of pizza. The apartment was technically owned by a company connected to Epstein's brother, Mark Epstein, but was effectively controlled by Jeffrey Epstein. Units in the building were frequently loaned out to Epstein's contacts and used to house underage models. Rafi Shlomo, then director of protective service at the Israeli mission to the United Nations in New York and head of Barak security, corresponded with Epstein employees to arrange meetings to discuss security and coordinate installation of specialized surveillance equipment at the 66th Street residence. Shlomo personally controlled access to the apartment for guests and even conducted background checks on cleaners and Epstein employees, almost like he was working for him or with him at the behest of the Israeli government. It wasn't like, oh, well, Ehud's my friend, therefore we have to have, tight security from the Israeli government. It's just something we have to deal with. No, they were working together with the government officials. So even the fact that, the former prime minister, Ehud Barak, who was tasked with going out and setting up tech company, liaising with tech companies in the United States to backdoor them for Mossad as a broad intelligence operation, he's working with Epstein, and the government that's like protecting Ehud at the time is also working with Epstein. Nothing to see here, folks. He's a satanic pedophile. That's all you need to know. He's dead, and he did kill himself. All right, we're moving right along. Crazy. Under Israeli law, former prime minister and other high-ranking officials typically receive security services after they leave office. According to the emails, Epstein personally approved the installation of the equipment and authorized meetings between his staff and Israeli security officials. Ehud Barak and the Israeli mission to the United States did not respond to requests for comment. At the time of Epstein's death in 2019, Barak downplayed his connection to the disgraced financier, stating that while he met Epstein several times, he didn't support me or pay me. It's like, no one asked that. They asked if you were friends. All right. So I just thought that was a fun little update, a fun little accent to the Jeffrey Epstein mystique, the saga, this situation where our government has all these files exposing what he did, who he knew, what his connections were. We know that they have them. They know we know that they have them, and they don't give a shit. They're staying under lock and key. And as I understand it, a pretty significant chunk of those files pertain to the early 2000s, like around 9/11, and they're all just staying secret. I don't know what that means, but I know that's the case. So they fucking with us with these names. I know. Doesn't it feel like it's like Big Nose Jewistein? You're like, come, dude, give me a fucking break. I'm trying to be a decent human being here. I'm glad they're keeping the files. They're very, they're keeping them company, keeping them warm. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this episode of the MFer Podcast. I thank you very much for hanging out and watching this show with me. I will be back on Thursday doing another episode of the MFer Podcast. And of course, don't miss my Sunday show. Look, don't miss the Sunday show. The Sunday show is a lot of fun. It's over on New American Vision. It's like 3 hours long. It's way longer than this show. We do all different types of podcast conversations, and I break down different dynamics, political philosophy. Sometimes I clown on people. It's good. It's a good time. I can't recommend it more. And then hopefully, I don't want to announce it if it's not going to happen, but hopefully next week I should have a really cool collab set up. I hope. Like I said, I don't want to if I spoil it, if it doesn't happen, then I'll be really disappointed. So I don't want to do that. But where? There's not that many people going live right now, huh? Gary? I guess I'll send you to Gary. You can go watch Nerdrotic for the night. All right, that is going to do it, though. Thank you guys for watching. Like I said, Thursday back here, Sunday night, hang out with me on New American Vision. It's really fun. Thank you very much, Carrick Von K. Can confirm Sunday show is goated. Let's fuck it. You know what? I'll even play the intro for that to give y'all a taste on the way out of here. All right, y'all have a great one.
I said, no, compare the proportion of school shooters that are white versus violent criminals that are black, because that was the basis of the monologue.
I mean, Keir Starmer's not...
Well, he did make a call about this.
No, Keir Starmer is every bit as enslaved as Donald Trump is. It is illegal. It is a crime for which you can be arrested in Britain right now, criticizing Israel.
I want to cut my off and scramble my brain with fucking fluoride. I'm going to win because Netflix is worth $3 trillion. I can't believe the dollars are this high.
It's a society that hates God. It's a society where the family is completely deconstructed and destroyed. It's a society that hates Nazis but loves communism.
You're always confronted with the same stupid question. Does Israel have a right to exist? Does Israel have a right to exist? The real question at this point is whether the rest of the world has an obligation to put an end to this.